I cannot. I don't know.
Okay. Mm,
Good. It's good now. Thank you.
okay, no problem.
All right. So before we start, do you have some people who still cannot access their server here? Okay. So if we do, so you can send your student number to the class lead and forward it to Mr. Brendan so that he can, so that he can work on it. All right. So today we introduce our next project, upgrade and patching, and I will complete the entire topic by Friday. Since I could not complete it with the morning class, so it means I also have to stop somewhere in the evening and take some time on Friday and round up the presentation, round up the PowerPoint. Next Monday, the group that will be chosen we start presenting not really on technical stuff, not really technically because you guys will not have a lot to do. So I will tell you guys what you will do for Monday, Wednesday, and so on. This project normally was one of the longest projects, okay, because before we had to move all the way from 10G to 12C. Those people, those you guys know who have been in Brontech, all the previous classes, they will tell you they upgraded from, from 10G to 11, 11 to 12, and it was quite long. So I decided to remove the 10G. So with you guys, I will not upgrade to 11. I will not use the 10G, okay? We will upgrade straight. We will start with 11. So let me explain how it was working before, okay? So that so before we had 4 software. Eventually now we still have 4 software available, okay? Actually, I'm just negotiating with Brenda so that we can have a change C for other batches. But what we had before is we had these 4 software. And what happened is in the past, for the project, you had to create a database on 10G, and that database had to move all the way to 12C. So it's true that we have multiple methods of doing this, but the method frequently used by students, okay, could allow them only to move from one version, one after another. So that means they could not just jump from here to here, which is possible, but the method they were using, okay, we all were using, because I used those methods, we had to jump from 10.2.1. There was even an intermediate version, 10.2.4. And from that 10.2.1, we jumped to 12.2.1. From 12.2.1, we jumped to 12.03. And we go to 10.2.1, we jumped to 11.2.1. 11.2.1, from 11.2.1 to 11.2.3. And from 11.2.3 to 12C. And we noticed that a lot of people, after 1 week, were stuck at this level. Always stuck at this level. And by the end of the, once they can cross this stage, it'll be easier for them to complete other upgrade methods. It means that it was a bit similar the way we upgrade from 10.204 to 11.201. Okay, it was quite the same thing. It was not that different. So because it was taking a lot of time, so I removed this one. Now we will start straight from here. So what does it mean? It means that we install 3 software instead of 4. So we install, okay, please, this time, let's make sure it's in the same home. Okay, it should be like this all the way till the end of this program. So we install now 3 software. 12.201, this is what you guys have been using so far. This will be the home. 11.203, the home, and 12.100, 102, the home. So this is basically what I even need for the next Monday, the code that we present. So just installations, okay? Since you guys will not have enough time, I want you guys to understand the concept, and also I want to have enough time to do it well. So yes, that is basically what you guys will be doing. Just jump straight from 11 to 11.203, from 11.203 to 12. Yes, some people will say you can move from 11.201 to 12. There's a method of doing it, okay? But if you guys want to frequently use method here in Brontech, you may need to jump from 11.201 to 11.203, and from 11.203 to 12.102. And at some point, after you upgraded from 11.201 to 11.203, there's a step here called a patch. There's a patch you guys may need to apply at some point here. I think I will show you guys where that patch is located. Those patches are located. So that means when you apply that patch, it will bring this from 11.203 to 11.203 point something. I think it's 0.17 or 0.3. So that means there is another intermediate step here. So that's what makes it a little bit longer, okay? So because I really want us to do patching, okay? So we will be doing both upgrade and patching so that we all can see at least, okay, how we use the OPatch utility. Unfortunately, here, okay, in the past, we tried to implement OEM cloud control, but it looks like it was affecting other servers' performance. So we no longer use OEM cloud control here in Brontech, okay? So I won't be able to demonstrate or to show you guys how to apply a patch using OEM, because that's one of the easiest way of applying the patch, okay? That's one of the easiest way. So on this course, we will be applying the patching. I will show you guys what is the OPatch utility, and you guys will also learn along the way how to apply a patch, and I'll explain what means what is patch, okay? So let's not forget that we have other tools out there available to perform the patch. So if I show you guys the OPatch utilities, because that is what we have handy here, that's what you guys can use. But we have a lot of tools built by companies, okay, to facilitate, okay, this patching process. When we get to patching, I will explain why, okay, I will explain some reason why some companies may use other tools may choose other tools than over the Apache utility. Okay, there are reasons behind. Okay, but since we don't have those tools, we don't have OEM cloud control. If you guys want to know how you work with OEM cloud control, I will just advise you guys to watch a short video and put your note down, because I cannot show you that one because we don't have it. But for Apache utility, you may find some resources all over the places on Canvas, you know, in order to perform your assignment, in order to complete the assignment. Okay. Now, I just want to introduce the concept of upgrade and patching. Why do we upgrade and why do we patch? So I will take some time explaining both of them, and I will open, you know, the floor for questions before I jump into the second part, that is the different tools we use to patch. Okay, and after that, depending on the amount of questions, if there's no question, we leave earlier. If there's questions, I'm open to answer. So feel free to ask your questions. Okay. Be glad to answer, and I will try my best to provide the best answer for your question. If I know, of course. Okay, so let me start with upgrade, because sometimes these two go together, sometimes not. Okay, so I will start with upgrade, then jump to patching, and maybe while explaining upgrade, I can put patching inside. Okay, but upgrade and patching, you know, are different words, and also this is what you guys will be doing as DBAs in your companies, not just on premise. Even if you are in the cloud, you may still need to upgrade your databases. Okay, so upgrade, as you guys understand, in like English language says, right? Upgrade just means moving from one level to another one, right? Moving to a higher level. So it means upgrade is not just for databases. Okay, upgrade, even in real life, we upgrade. Okay, so depending on, you know, the scenario, you may say that you upgraded, you know, maybe you upgraded from a $10 job to a $12 job. You upgraded. Okay, that's a salary upgrade. Or maybe, okay, you move, depending on how you see things, maybe you move from a small car to another more expensive car. So you may say that when it comes to cars, you upgraded, okay? And more frequently, we talk about phone, okay? If you have been using a iPhone 6 and you buy iPhone 7, okay, you also say that you upgraded your phone. So now let me start with phone, okay? I will use phones as example on this topic. So we all know that, you know, those stuff have been evolving, right? So we started with some type of phone in the past, and now as time moves on, we are having newer versions, okay? We can notice that every year or every 2 years, we have a new phone version. What happened is what is important to notice is that what the new one, the latest one also always have something that the previous one does not, okay, does not have. So, and that is the first observation you may notice, right? So if I take I don't know, I know somewhere, okay, if I take a iPhone 6 and I take iPhone 7, there's always an enhancement they perform on iPhone 7, okay? There's something that they added on iPhone 7 that was not on iPhone 6. Maybe when it comes to speed, or maybe the camera, maybe the storage, I don't know about the in-depth details, but there's always something they added on, okay, in the new version. That is what makes it become more expensive, okay, because they added something. that was not in the previous one. So it means that whenever we are talking about upgrade, you can upgrade, okay? You can upgrade because you are seeking those features, right? So you are seeking those new features. You say, oh, the iPhone 11 is out there. Oh, iPhone 11 maybe has 3 cameras. I don't know. I think something like that. Multi cameras, a lot of features, okay? And you are interested. So you may decide to upgrade, you know, buy the iPhone 11 because you want to take advantage of those features. Sometimes, okay, you may also decide to upgrade your phone maybe because the other phone is no longer helping you to reach out to perform some type of activities. Okay, so there's some phone version that are quite limited, right? I remember in the past, okay, you had some phones that could not support some applications because they did not have a lot of storage. Okay, but as time move on, we are having now phones with more storage. So you will see now that those people who were upgrading to the latest phones, they're upgrading maybe for a reason, maybe because they want more storage, right? To store their pictures or videos or to be able to navigate on Google and so on. So you can now say that in this scenario, they were not really upgrading just because um, uh, um, they just want to throw some money away. Okay, no, but because they noticed that the new phone the new phone has maybe more storage in order to store their pictures, especially those people who are used to record everything, recording, even posting on Facebook and so on. So they may need some storage, right, in order to keep some information. So that is just a small scenario, just small example when it comes to the phone. We all are familiar with phone. Okay. So apart from phone, we have a lot of other stuff as I listed. Okay. But now when it comes to IT as well, everything is upgraded. Okay. You will see even a laptop, you will move from okay, some laptop in the past, you will see dual cores, and now you have 8 cores, you have 4 cores, you have 5 cores, 7 cores, okay? So we are moving, toward the perfection. We are trying to make some things better than what we had before, okay? And even when it comes to servers as well, okay, we upgrade servers, we upgrade machine, okay, so that, either by increasing the amount of CPU or by increasing the storage, okay, so to make the server run faster or by increasing the amount of memory or the amount of workers on that server, okay, so that is how it works. And coming back now to applications, yes, application as well are also upgraded. Okay, let's assume that the same example we took, right? Let's assume that I have an application that is WhatsApp, and I noticed that there is something missing on that WhatsApp application, and I say, okay, as a developer, the person who built the application, I decide to work on that missing feature, and I deploy it, okay, and I release the feature. So once I release it, the feature now will be available to you. And once I make it available to you, the version will change, because once you decide to upgrade to that version, that means you will start taking advantage of that feature. But if you don't upgrade your phone or you don't upgrade your application WhatsApp, okay, you won't take advantage of that feature. Okay, so everything is getting upgraded. We upgrade everything. Okay, almost everything. Okay, so especially in the IT world, almost everything is upgraded. We always have some enhancement on every single thing. Okay, in the IT world. And now we have multiple. Okay, when coming back to Oracle Strep, okay, you may have multiple reasons behind an Oracle upgrade. Okay, multiple reasons behind the fact why a company may decide to upgrade a database. you will not just wake up in the morning and say that, hey, we have to upgrade, okay? Because it requires some time, okay? And it also requires money, and also requires a certain amount of preparation, okay? So company, we upgrade for multiple reasons, okay? Can be business reason, or it can be availability, it can be SLA, multiple reasons behind, okay? So it means that if in an interview you have been asked why you upgraded, you have to find a reason why the company upgraded, okay? Because you guys will see some of your friends, siblings, or people you know, right? People you know, you see some of them are still working on 11G, while some of them are, while others are working on 18C, 19C. And you ask yourself, why? Maybe you will say, okay, maybe the other guy who's upgrading to 19C is busier than the one who is working on 11G. But that might not be the case. Okay, so because the company that's upgrading to 18, 19, or 20C knows why it's upgrading to that version. Okay, and the company which is not upgrading to that version also has its own reason. Okay, so it means that all company, okay, they know why they upgrade, and they upgrade for a particular reason. Okay, so today I'm going to list some of them. And one of the first reasons why the GBA, can be assigned to upgrade the database, because you are the one to upgrade databases. I can tell you the guys that the GBA, that's your job, 100%. You may get to the office, and you see a ticket, and they ask you that you have to upgrade database. But you will not do that right away, okay? That is just a ticket. Or it can be a project. I know some people who upgraded as part of a project. That means it took a lot of preparation. They had to work with their team members. They had to test it. And then they have to upgrade. And one day we choose a cutover day, we perform the upgrade, and so on. Very complex. I also know some other people who are working in some environment, not busy as well. I can say some small companies, and those people are upgrading as just a regular ticket. So they just go to the office, and the manager say, "Oh, you have to upgrade. We have 1 month, or we have this amount of time to upgrade 6 databases from 11G to 12C." So it depends on, I don't know, okay, the company we choose. Depending on how important the database is, right? We need to allocate more time and give a lot of priorities, okay, on the upgrade process. So one of the first reasons, as I was saying, that can push a company to upgrade can also be an application upgrade. The application have 2 ends. We have the front end, the back end. That means what? On any application, right? On the front end, that is where we have access. That's where users have access, okay? When you see the HR in the office, they have access on one of the end. So they just type their English language. They just type, whatever they are doing there. And the application will process the data, convert it into a language Oracle you understand, if you have a WebLogic server and all those stuff in the background. The application will convert it, and that the request sent by the HR in the office or finance department, that request will be converted into a job or into a SQL statement in the database. And that is what can allow that query can retrieve the data from the database and returning back to the user. It's true that we have some applications that do not store all their data in the database. So we have some applications that store part of their data in the application itself and just another part of it in the database. Okay, so that in case the database is not available, at least some of the data, some of the informations can be retrieved straight at the application level. Okay, so that is not the purpose of this course, of this class, but I just wanted to Emphasize that one. So not all applications store their data entirely in the database. Some application can keep a certain amount of data, okay, and keep a certain another type of data. That means what? They may keep frequently access data in the application and do data that are not frequently accessed in the database. So it means if you go to the database because the data that data, is not frequently used, you just go there and get it. So we can now see that the application cannot function with can really not function, okay, without a database, as well as a database is useless without an application. All your databases are useless because there's no application on it. As I'm teaching you guys, your database is there quiet, right? So you guys can go on yourself as only a GBA, okay, and be running command as GBA. So it's not active. In a real environment, your database won't be like that, right? There will be an application. You may have few databases like that, but not just a couple of them. But most databases, we have application running on them, and that is what makes the relationship. Okay, so that's why you guys will be supporting applications. So whenever they are complaining about any connection issue, connectivity issue, slownesses, anything, that's why you guys will assist, because they are connecting to your database. So you own the database. So you should help them. You should figure out, you should debug the issue. Okay. So that is your job. Those applications now also have versions. They have versions, right? Everything has a version. And your database also has a version. Because the application team own that database, they own your database. What? Okay. So the application own, that means what? They have, before you even create a database, they are the one to tell you how to create it. Let me give you an example. If there's a new application that wants to be deployed in an environment, and that application has to run on a database, they will tell you that, okay, for it to be deployed on a particular database, you have to create a database with this amount of memory, this amount of SGA, PGA, and you have to set this type of parameters. So while we deploy an application, we decide how you are going to create a database. So you guys can see now that in order for an application to be deployed on a particular database, there are some prerequisites that should be met, because that's how it works. So the vendor will give you, a checklist, okay, and for that application to run and to run properly, these are the prerequisites to be met. This is how you should create an Oracle database. This is the amount of SGA and so on. These are the parameters you should set. So you see now that your database depends on the application and vice versa. That is why in an environment, if you just want to update the database, you just want to change something on the database, okay, you need the approval from the application team, from the application owners. So that's why if you want to create the user, you want to update, add an index, you always have to create a change request so that they can approve. Because if it goes against what it should be, they will deny the change. So the application team own your database. So they have a very huge impact on the database. If they don't want something to happen, it should not happen. If they say it will not work, so they have that power of saying it, because if you change something that can affect the performance of the application, it means it will affect the business. Let's imagine they tell you should not change this parameter, okay, and you change it. Let's assume now that some customers are trying to, let's assume it's an e-commerce business, okay, and some customers are trying to purchase some items online and their application hang or is unavailable. That means the company will be losing some money, okay? So the application team will always pay attention to whatever change you guys have to perform. Even when we are migrating to the cloud or whatever, we always need any approval from them. They are the ones to decide whether we can migrate or whether we can upgrade or not. So they have a very, very huge impact on any operation performed on a database. So that's one of the first reasons. If now they upgrade the application, now part of the requirement could be that you, the GBA, also upgrade the database. Let's assume they're upgrading the application from 11.2.1.1, and they say, okay, we are going to 12.2.2.3. Okay, so you, the GBA, for my version to work well, okay, as per the vendor, then just new application version, we best work with this particular Oracle version, and then ask you the GBA to upgrade. So sometimes you may upgrade because of as per request from the application team. And it's one of the common reasons. One of them. I'm not saying the first one, but one of them. Okay, so they may ask you to upgrade because either they just upgrade the application yes, they just upgrade the application most of the time. And they want you to also upgrade database, okay, as per requirement. Okay, so that's one of the first reasons. Another reason, okay, will be that can you mute yourself or what? Okay, thank you. Another reason to upgrade a database will be, also to take advantage of, some performance, security, and also licensing cost and availability. So let me take an example. Let's assume that you are in a lower version and you are facing a lot of issues, okay? You are facing a lot of issues with your database, and you learn, right? Or maybe you have an advertisement from Oracle, or maybe you learn, or you have some training on new version. You notice that maybe that new version will come and solve some type of problem you are facing in the previous version, okay? And not just resolve this problem, but it will improve your performance, it will enhance the security, okay, and other stuff. So, but at the end of the day, what we want is a database that is always available. That's what company wants. A database that is always available 24/7, that is not breaking frequently. If a database can be up 24/7, and we shut it down only when we want to perform some changes, some major changes, that's the best scenario. But we know that sometimes, for any reason, it can fail. It's a piece of code, so it can fail somewhere because of any reason. So the ideal scenario will be to have a database that doesn't fail frequently, a database that is highly performant, right? So, and also, if it's performant, we can also save some money. Okay, that's performant, something that's highly available, and also something that can help us to save some money. We all learned, for instance, multi-tenancy that can help us to save money with consolidation, okay? So company may decide to use multi-tenancy, for instance, because they want to consolidate their databases to ease the management, okay? And that can help for other reasons. So we see now that some other motivation behind the upgrade could be that performance reason, first of all, availability, and security as well. Okay. The smallest example I will take is something you guys are familiar with. Let's take automatic share moment management. That was introduced on 10G. But we all notice that ASMM is, manages only the SGA, correct? So now on 11G, for instance, we had automatic memory management that can allow you to manage both the SGA and the PGA. So Oracle can manage that for you automatically. So you just need to allocate a certain amount of memory max target and memory max size and memory max target and memory target. No, max size. Memory max target. Memory target. Okay, so you just have to allocate those two parameters, and automatically Oracle we share that memory, okay, across all the existing memory structure. So it will help you. It helps some companies because you no longer have to monitor the PGA, okay, allocate size to the PGA, but Oracle can do that for you. So it means that whenever the PGA needs more memory, Oracle can get it from the SGA, and whenever the SGA needs more memory, Oracle can get it from the PGA. So it can be that, okay, you guys, every time you are not using AMMM, you do not have it because you're on 10G. So every time you are finding yourself increasing the PGA, decreasing dynamically, because Oracle cannot do that for you automatically. So you can see now another motivation could be for you to move to AMM, because there, if you have a lot of queries performing sorting operations or performing direct path read, that means reading from the disk to the memory from the disk to the PGA. Okay, you need to see that Oracle, we can grab some space from the SGA and allocate it to the PGA. Okay, so that you may have a better performance. You don't need to go manually and increase the PGA aggregate target. This is just one example among multiple other examples. So in this scenario, you are upgrading because you want to take advantage, for instance, of AMM, because you don't have it. Okay, so you may find yourself upgrading. Okay, so, and yes, that is another reason why you may decide to upgrade. But before you even upgrade a database, you still have to contact the application vendor whether they support that version you are going to. Very important. They are still around, everything. So you are in a lower version and you want to go to a higher version, even though the application itself has not yet upgraded, okay, it's still at the same version. You want to ease the job, you want to take advantage of new features, you want to help on fixing security stuff, performance. You want to move to the higher version. The company decides, but before we do that, we always have to contact the vendor. That means the person who owns the application. And the vendor should give you an approval before you do that. If the vendor doesn't give you an approval, you should not upgrade. This is valid for migrations. Okay, so that is why you will get to some environment, you will see databases still running on 10G. You will say, oh, you have a good way of telling them that, but you will see some database running on 10G, but you also see some other database on 11G, 12C, and 18C. You can question yourself, right? We say, why are they keeping some database on 10G, others on 11, and others on 18? Why are they not moving all the databases to 18C so that they can take advantage of all the in-memory features available there, automatic index creation and rebuild? Why are they not doing it? Because the application, the vendor is not supporting those versions. That is one of the reasons. Maybe they are not supporting those new versions where you are going. And if they're not supporting, you cannot just go there. Because if something breaks, they will not help you. It's like I create my product, I create something and I give it to you. Whenever you have an issue, you contact me, I help you, I assist you, I fix it. But if I tell you that, if you're my product, you are trying to move my product in an environment where I cannot support you, and you move it there, you have any type of issue, I cannot help you. And I will not help you. So you see now that some company will stay on lower version, not because they want, not because they okay, they have a lot of choices because that's how it is. Let me take an example on this particular one. We were performing a major migration. That was my first project. We were migrating Oracle databases, upgrade and migrating. Okay, migrating just means move from one server to another server. Just take it like that. Okay, migrating is just from one server to another server. Let's assume I have student 100 and student 200. So if I move something from student 100 to student 200, it's a type of migration. Okay, and while you are moving from student 100 to student 200, you can be upgrading while migrating. So that means if student 100 is on 11G, student 200 is on 12C, you can migrate to student 200 and upgrade directly to 12C. It's possible, depending on the method you will choose. So we were doing a major project. That project was a migration from our Oracle databases were residing on IIX, that is a type of operating system. Some databases were also residing on Linux, okay? And we were migrating to Linux running on Exadata, Cloud Customer, ExaCC. That is another type of dedicated cloud. So it means that you can have a shared cloud platform or a dedicated cloud. So you want your cloud, we can take it and bring it in your own data center. So we configure your cloud in your data center. So you don't share with anyone. And I can tell you that most of the government agencies use their private cloud. If I have a Department of Treasury, all those critical FBI areas, they cannot share. They cannot just put their data like that online. So they have their private cloud. Okay. So that's what we were doing as a project. We were migrating, okay, from Oracle on IIX to Exadata. Data cloud customer. What was the issue now? Why am I saying this? Sorry. Why am I taking this one as an example? Now you have multiple applications connected to our Oracle databases. And what happened is some application vendors did not have any issues migrating their databases to Oracle running on Exadata. They were supporting, they said they will still support the application if they are running on Exadata. But I think one or two vendors denied. They said that if we migrate these databases to Exadata, they won't support the application. So they said that they are not supporting that application if it's running on Exadata platform. Yeah. And you cannot take that risk, right? Just migrating an application that you cannot get a support if something goes wrong. You cannot just take that risk. So what happened is we had two options. Okay, I think that was American Insurance Group. Yes, AIG. We had two options. The first option was either we don't migrate the databases. That means we keep those servers on premise, right? And why were we even migrating? Let me tell you, these guys. We were migrating because the company was losing a lot of money on licensing. So they were paying a license for operating system, paying license for applications, paying support. So when they made the assessment, if I can remember the exact cost, the company was spending around $10 million just on maintenance, licenses, and so on. $10 million. Linux operating system licensing, database licensing, maintenance, and all those stuff. But they noticed that if they migrate to ExaCC, they will be paying around $3 to $4 million on licensing. So a huge saving. That's why that's why they decided to migrate all their Oracle databases to ExactCC, because they will no longer care about maintenance, because Oracle will take care of that. They no longer care about some operating system license because they'll be paying everything to Oracle, and Oracle will just have to take care of the hardware, networking, everything for them. Even some engineer, they can just reduce their team, right? They will not need a lot of sysadmin, a lot of DBA, a lot of network admin, because Oracle can take care of can manage part of activities. So, but for that particular scenario, the application vendor denied. They said we cannot, they will not support the application if we migrate it to ExactCC. As I said, the first option for us was to keep the application on the server. That means those servers, right, in which the application was running on, we keep those servers. So that means we still be paying that license, the license on those particular servers. That was the first option. Or the second option was for us to find another vendor who can provide same services. That means another application vendor who owns an application, and that application can do similar things as this one, as our current application. Those were the two options we had. It was a long project. I don't even know what was the final decision. Okay, because you had to go for 2 years, and I found another opportunity with Oracle, and I moved from there. But what was to be chosen at that time, I don't know if that's what they do, because there were many pointing to other one. What they were trying to keep, that application on those servers temporarily, while trying to see if they can find another vendor, a better contract, or try to build a similar application by themselves. That is one of the things they were thinking of. Okay, that's one of the methods. So temporarily we keep paying for licenses, whatever, while trying to figure out if there's a better option somewhere else before we break the contract with you. Okay, so again, as I cannot tell you what happened next, but you can see the motivation behind. You can see now the impact of the vendor on the migration. You see now that they say they will not support it, but we did not migrate it because they will not support us. Okay, so you still need their approval. Even if you see that there's something better ahead, you will take advantage of very good features. Okay, so you may still, yes, you may still need to contact them. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason was, we want to take advantage of, availability, performance, security, but you still need approval from vendors. Another reason, that is one of the, it's also scary, is the support from Oracle. Oracle doesn't support as well. Like the application vendor is also complaining, right? That if you don't do this, I will not support you. Oracle also has its own rules. Oracle doesn't support some versions. Let's assume that this 2020 Oracle will not support any 11G database. Okay, so what does it mean? It also means that if you have any issue with that, your 11G database or 10G or 9i, you hit any issue, Oracle will not also help you. So you cannot also see that. Another reason behind the upgrade is also because you are seeking for support from Oracle. Oracle is a very complex technology, one of the most complex RDBMS. So if you cannot, you get into troubles, you have an issue and they cannot help you, and you are saying you cannot figure out, I don't know what will happen to your job, right? I don't know what will happen to the business. So either they fire you or something happen, because they always think that is the DBA fault, right? Or they always find a reason behind. So, so yes, the third option is you may decide to upgrade because you are still seeking support from Oracle. Okay, so and even that option, you may still contact the vendor to make sure that they are supporting the new version of Oracle. Okay, so yes, third option, third reason, you are seeking support Oracle. You want to keep the support, you want assistance from Oracle. Now, once you get the support from Oracle, what are some benefits? Some benefits are that if you hit an issue, you have a particular issue, you hit an internal error, like Oracle 600 you guys are familiar with, okay? Oracle can help you, can develop, okay, some code to resolve that issue. And those codes are called patches, okay? Or bug fixes. Most of the time you understand, you hear bug fixes, okay? So what does it mean? It means that let's assume I'm on 11G and I still have the support from Oracle. And I'm doing an export or I'm doing any operation, right? And I face an internal error that I cannot resolve. Okay, I hit a bug. That is not my problem. That is the software problem. So what you will need to do will be to, to raise a service request to Oracle support in order to get assistance, right? So you will go to Oracle support platform, you will create a service request, and they will ask for information. They will ask for logs, alert log, trace files, depending on the issue, right? They ask you for logs, and you will provide those logs to Oracle, and they can give you recommendation on the best fix. So either they will tell you that, okay, this is a bug fix. They give you the bug fix number, and you just go ahead and apply it, okay? So once you apply that bug fix, you will resolve your issue. So that bug fix is called a patch. So you are patching because you are resolving a bug. You are fixing a bug. You hit in the while doing your normal business operations. Okay, so maybe you have some your environment is vulnerable. Oracle notice that we are trying to enhance the security of your system. They may also release a bug, a security fix, or also called a patch. Okay, so they can release it, and that's something they release quarterly as well. Okay, so they release every 3 months. Sorry. Okay, so they will release it so that you apply those patches in order to enhance the security of your system, to make it less vulnerable. We all know that as we are working to secure our databases, hackers are also working to access our databases, our system. So while we are fighting to secure, some other people are fighting to access. They are developing new techniques to access. That is also how we all should also develop new techniques to block them. So Oracle will also release security, fixes, and you guys just need to apply it in order to enhance the security of your system. So that is if you are supported. If you don't have a support, you don't deserve that. Okay. Also, once you are support, you have a support, okay. There are part of those patches can also be, to enhance the performance even. So you can have some patch that will enhance the optimizer performance or the database itself performance. So by applying that patch, the performance, the optimizer decision can be maybe more efficient than whatever decision was taken before. So you see how important the support having a support is, right? Because once you are supported, you have any issue, you get into some trouble, some errors you cannot fix as a DBA, there is an Oracle agent that will assist you on how to resolve it. Sometimes they can even get into a meeting, a Zoom meeting with you. They take control on your screen and they fix it for you because you have a support. Okay, so you see now that you are playing with two people, okay? The application vendor and the database vendor. Sometimes the application vendor also can be the same as the database vendor. Like Oracle owns some applications. In that scenario, they know how to handle both. You will never face those type of issue like we cannot upgrade database because of the application. Because if I'm the vendor and I own both the application and database, it means that I can, I find some way around everything. Okay. So the issue comes whenever application vendor and database vendors are different and they have different requirements. So you need to work with both and you need to make sure that whatever you are doing, okay, um, uh, the application is okay with that, and also the database vendor is also okay with that. Okay, any question on what I just said?
Yes, please, I have a question. So who suggests the upgrades? Is it the application vendors or the support, the Oracle?
The application vendor can suggest both, okay, both, definitely. But you may get the request to upgrade mostly will come from the application, but Oracle will not force you to upgrade, right? They just tell you that your support stops for your version, right? For your Oracle version, your support will stop this year. So it's up to you now, right? As an adult, you will think, will I stay where I am without having a support, or should I move? Oracle will not force you. But since the application is very close to you, they will ask you to do that. You will just do that. If they want to upgrade, you will just do that. It's part of your, it's like an assignment. You have to do that, okay? You don't choose. But with Oracle, if Oracle asks you to upgrade, they may not even ask you to upgrade like that, okay? They just tell you, you just know that your support will end by this year, okay? So now it's up to you to upgrade. If you want to upgrade, you also need to contact again the application vendor so that they can validate whether you can upgrade or not. So the priority is even the application vendor. Does it make sense?
Yeah. So can they ever decide to ask you to downgrade?
Yes. Especially whenever it goes wrong after the upgrade, because not all the upgrades are successful. Okay. Part of the upgrade activities is once you upgrade to the highest version, okay, that's why we always go through a POC, a proof of concept. The proof of concept consists of doing the activity on the lower environment, testing it, doing some performance testing, quality testing, all those testing, and to see if it's working for us, right? It meet our expectation. So if we notice that we move to the highest version and things are moving perfectly for us, we will stay there. If you notice that we upgrade to the highest version and we are facing a lot of performance issues, or we are having headache, right? That cannot be fixed. Okay, some people will prefer to downgrade. So that's why after the upgrade, we always give the application team some time to test any upgrade or migration project. Once you upgrade or you migrate, there's always some time we give to the application team to test their code in the new version or in the new platform. Once they perform all their testings, now based on that, we decide whether it's good for us to stay there or not. If those issues can get resolved, then we good. If not, then we come back. And now you can easily come back, okay? If in that scenario. So sometimes it can be 30 days, it can be 2 weeks, it can be 3 weeks, depending on, business requirement. So yes, it's possible to downgrade if everything goes wrong after the upgrade. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does make sense.
Right. And based on the method you use to upgrade, there are some other methods. There are some methods that is the downgrade procedure. There are some other methods that make it more difficult. So we were talking about some of them today.
So, so I just wanted to know if you're upgrading from 0.1 to 0.3, it's considered an upgrade. And if you're upgrading from 11.3 to 12.1, that's also an upgrade. Is that so? Upgrading from 11 to 11, is that considered a smaller upgrade than upgrading?
It's an upgrade.
Okay.
Yes, I understand. Definitely, yes. We consider it as an upgrade. As well, if you are also moving from 11.203 to 11.204, you guys will watch some video, you will see 11.204 in some places. That's also considered as an upgrade. Whenever you are moving, let me just give you this small formula. Whenever you are moving a database from one software to another software, consider it as an upgrade. Because 11.203 has its own software. 11.201 has its own software. So if I'm moving a database from 11.201 to 11.203, it's an upgrade. If I have 11.204, 11.204 has its own software. If I'm moving from 11.203 to 11.204, it is an upgrade. And so on. So whenever you're moving a database from one software that's present on the lower version to another software in the higher version, you consider it as an upgrade. Patching now is whenever you are performing a change without having to move from one software to another software. Okay, so that means for instance, you have 11.203, you just apply a patch, okay, and you just update that existing software, okay, without having to move the database from one software to another one. You will consider it as a patch. So yes, take it as an upgrade, okay? Don't look at the part, don't think that upgrade just means 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 18, 18 to 19. You can see now that in 11, you can move from 11.201 to 11.203. You can even move from 11.203 to 11.204 and from 11.204 to 12C. And why are we doing that? Because based on the method you'll be using, it'll be hard for you to move from 11.201 to 12C directly. Okay, so some method cannot allow you to move directly from here to here. So you may need to move straight from here to this one, then you move from this one to this one. Okay, there are some upgrade methods that cannot allow you to just jump from this software to this software. Okay, so yes, consider this as upgrade. Does it make sense?
Yeah. So is it safe to say that patching can be an update instead of, can we consider that as an update?
An update?
Yes.
Maybe, yeah, it's an update. Yeah, yes, it's an update because I can say that. Okay, let me explain, okay, the different type of patching. Sometimes you may decide to patch. Because you are upgrading. For instance, they will ask you that normally, right? You guys are just trying to, for practice purpose, we just jump from 201, 203 to 12. But normally, if you want to get Oracle documentation to upgrade from 11.203 to 12C, they will tell you guys that you have a patch to apply before you jump to 12. So in that scenario, that patch is a patch for upgrading purpose. So that means you are applying that patch because you want to upgrade. If you don't apply that patch, maybe you can still upgrade, but you may face some issues in the future. And now, some other patches, some other type of patches will be for security, bug fixes, or performance enhancement. And by applying those stuff, it can affect the version of the software. So it means that if you apply a patch, for instance, right, it can move from 11.2.0.3 here to 11.2.0.3 point something, 0.1, 0.2, or 0.3 again. Because once you apply that patch, the fifth digit will change somewhere. So I don't know if you want to use it as update to understand. I don't know, but you have to be able to explain, right, what you are saying. Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, Mr. Gazdak,
Yes, sir. Please.
can you get me?
Yes, I understand. I'm getting you, sir. Please.
Okay, I wanted you to. I didn't understand. I didn't get the meaning of you kept using patching. I really can't get the really meaning of patching.
Okay, no worries. I will come back to patching. Okay. Since I was explaining, I just added patching on while explaining upgrade. I will come back to patching itself. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Don't worry. We are covering upgrade for now. Patching is another part, and that I will highly cover on Friday. But even if possible, let's focus on upgrade first. Okay. Talk about patching later on. Yeah.
Please, I have another.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Sorry, this is not really related to the topic, but you mentioned in your explanation about AMM. It sounds like a really good feature, but I know like in the past you don't really fancy it. So I wanted to know like what is some of the disadvantages of using automatic memory management?
Yeah, disadvantage is just it's still DBAs who are finding some disadvantages on things. Okay, if I'm an experienced DBA and I know that every time I'm having performance issues, it's because of small memories allocations, especially at the level of the buffer cache or the shared pool. That means I'm not trusting in what Oracle is doing, because AMM, it means you're automating stuff. So that means I'm not believing in the way Oracle is allocating memory in my database. So I may decide to take total control over it. So it means now that because I'm used to the environment, it's not because I'm new. So that means I've been working there for years. And I noticed that every time I'm increasing the buffer cache or something like that, it means Oracle, for me, is not doing its job. So what I can do is what? I can decide to be allocating my memory manually. So it means I will now say, okay, let me give this amount of memory to the shared pool. Let me give amount of memory to the buffer cache. Let me give amount of memory to the PGA. And I can even tell you, most of the experienced DBA don't use AMM. Okay, because they have total control over it. They know where they frequently have issues. They know, because if I'm having a lot of ticket on performance, slow hunting stuff, and I notice the PG is always small, and I find myself always increasing the PGA, it means Oracle is not doing its job for me. So I may just decide to disable that AMM and even use the manual allocation, because you guys have AMM, ASMM, and manual. So you can decide to allocate memory to individual memory, to individual memory structures. So that could be a disadvantage for me. Does it make sense? That could be a disadvantage for me. And also, we all know another limitation of AMM. If you want to use huge pages, you cannot use AMM, for instance. Okay? But most of the time, what Oracle recommend is not always what company use. Oracle recommendation doesn't mean what we should do. We have some GBAs who are more talented than people working in Oracle. We have some GBAs, again, right? Not because you hear somebody is working in Oracle that you means the person is the best. No, we all are going through interviews, right? So yeah, there are some things you guys can teach to people in Oracle. I can tell you guys that. Some people we all know we are working for Oracle, but there are some things we tell them they get lost. So it means that as a GPA with a lot of experience, you may have more control over your database. You may understand more your database than the Oracle engineer. So Oracle recommending AIM for you doesn't mean it is the best option for you. I don't know if I answer your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
All right, no problem.
Mr. Gata, just before you continue,
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you a quick question.
Sure, please.
Looking at your assignment, we have to install 11, let me just say 11, 1, 11, 3, and 12, and 12, 2. So
Yes, sir.
I just want to ask, should we, I know I'm a little bit hesitant here, but
I will show you where they are located.
yes, so what about a listener, like the listener of this 11.1? Can we use the same listener all through?
But you guys, I show you guys that you guys can register a database that is on 11G on a listener on 12C, right?
Really?
If you want, you can create a listener for each of them. It's up to you. And most of the time in the environment, they even allocate listener for databases. Okay? You will hardly see an environment where the listener is used. If I have, for instance, 6 databases on a server, in a scenario, you will see all of them using one listener. Rare scenario. So sometimes, like you guys can see local listener parameters, all those stuff. So in some scenarios, some databases may have their dedicated listener just to ease the maintenance. So if you guys want, you create a listener for this, for this, for this, or you go to the listener.ora that is on this server, you rename it so that you don't have any listener.ora here, you don't have any listener.ora here, and all the databases you created on this past 2 version, you register them on this listener, and okay, and so that you have only one listener that can listen to databases on 11, 201, 11, 202, and 12. It's possible. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes, it's possible. I think we did that here in this class, right? If I remember. We registered a database that was running on 11G to 12C. Easy, it's easy though, don't worry, it's easy. It's the same way you have been doing everything, so it's easy. Just the TNS name should not move. So that means the database you want it to be listened by the 12C listener, you still put a database in the TNS name .ora on 11G. Same thing for a database that is on 11.201, 203. Only the TNS, only the listener.ora should not exist here and should not exist here. You should have only one listener.ora, and that listener will listen to all the databases. But each of them will still have their own TNS name.ora for their individual databases.
So the listener of 12C can listen the listener of 11G?
Sure, yes.
I thought
The listener of 12C can listen to databases on 11G, yes.
I thought it listen up, it doesn't listen down.
No, it can listen down, of course.
Okay.
You can. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Questions? Okay, guys, give me 5 minutes, please. We can stay online. I want to send a quick email. Now, I just received, before I log out here, I want to send a quick email. You don't need to disconnect. I just want to type it down now and send it. How far are we the highlighter?
Hi guys. Since Gaeta is busy, so Zoe contacted me for the SQL Fundamental DOM file for those who haven't gotten it yet. So they are trying to, the morning class, they are trying to get the DOM file. So they want to send some students, I believe maybe one from the morning and one from the evening. So and for that they are requesting a participation from each of you guys. So apparently it's $20. I don't know. I'm gonna ask Zoe's cash app, so I believe you guys can just cash him up, or you can each group leader can see with his group mates and bring the money up, then they can send it to Zoe. So they're trying to get a dump file, and I'm gonna ask him if there is any further information anybody wants to get. Just let me know, and I'm going to ask him. I repeat, each group leader, you can just see with your groups and you guys come up with the money. He told me $20 each. I believe it's gonna help, or it's gonna be of help to a lot of us. So any question, any preoccupation, just let me know.
So Ronaldo, you say $20 per person in each group?
$20 per person. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
We talk in our group, and
So is there a
the leader will
deadline
let you
for
know.
this?
Oh yeah, there's a deadline. I think it's on the 22nd. He said. Wait, let me see. 22nd. Yeah, Thursday the 22nd.
You said Thursday the 22nd. We should already send it.
Yeah, actually, I think it is a deadline. I don't know if it's the day they want to take it, but as for me, if you guys could do it Monday, like the deadline on Monday the 19th, it's gonna be so good.
Okay.
But if if anybody is not okay with that, then he can do on the 22nd, because I believe 22nd we don't have a class on Thursday, so either the 22nd or Wednesday, either the 19th, Monday the 19th, or Wednesday the 21st. So if you guys could discuss amongst you guys in your groups.
All right, we'll let you know.
Okay, thank you, Patrick.
So Ronaldo, if I understand you correctly, is Zoe sending to people the test a DOM file or to try to create one?
To try to create one.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Chair. Chair. Is he there?
Okay, guys. Sorry, I'm back. So, was there any question for me? Another question before we proceed? Another question on upgrade to Bootstrap 40, Bootstrap 40. Okay, so let's proceed then. You may have questions along the way. Okay. Okay. So now that we have a small background, why we company may decide to upgrade, we also need to to pay attention to the different ways ways of upgrading a database. Based on the method you want to use to upgrade. Okay, based on there are some metrics, okay, or there's some prerequisites that should be met before you choose a particular upgrading method. So it means that you have multiple ways of upgrading a database. For those who went through the slide, you see that there are a lot of slides here talking about each method. Okay, and each of them, okay, you will use each of them again as and based on some details such as the SLA, the database size, the operating system, and other stuff. So you have multiple methods to upgrade. Okay. You may decide to upgrade using GBUA. That's one of the upgrade methods. Manual scripts. That's another method. Data pump. Transportable database or transportable database. Arm and cross platform transportable database space. Physical standby or active standby. Logical standby. Oracle Golden Gate. So there are multiple methods to upgrade. And now, which upgrade method, okay, should you choose based on your environment? All those methods depends on two key metrics. And all those stuff also go along with the application. So can the application afford a certain amount of downtime? That's what is mean by SLA. So that are you able to bring the application down can the application team afford, okay, some hours of downtime? Can they afford that? If yes, there are some methods that are easy for you to use, and that will not require you to spend an additional amount of money or time, or that are even easier. But we also have another metric, and that one now we have to pay attention to the downtime, whether the application cannot afford a certain amount of downtime. That's why we have two major methods. Either we want to use to perform transactional upgrade. It means what? While we are upgrading, the application can still connect to the database and users can still perform their can still run their queries and perform their transaction. Okay, they can still do that. So that means it's transactional upgrade. So those type of application cannot afford a certain amount of downtime. They cannot afford to be down for an hour or two. No. So, and if you have such applications, then you have to think of the best method to upgrade with the least amount of downtime. So that is for transactional upgrade method. So in your environment, you may have both type of applications. Some applications that can afford a certain amount of downtime, some other applications that cannot. These one are the most critical one, mission critical applications. Because you may have some normal applications, okay, but those one maybe on the weekend they are not active, or maybe by 5 p.m. or by 6 or by 8 p.m. Apart from the maintenance job, the application is not active. But you also have some other applications that run 24/7. That's why you may have on call who are available to be there to maintain this application around the clock. So in this type of application, transactional applications, before you choose the upgrade method, you have to be very careful, right? Because you cannot just bring down the database like that. So now we also have, again, non-transactional upgrade method. In that scenario, application can afford either a shorter amount of downtime or a longer amount of downtime. So it also depends, right? Maybe downtime they can afford maybe 1 hour or 2 hours, or maybe more. Now, depending on that, you will also have another method of upgrading. So you now see that the SLA is one of the key aspects, the key parameters to consider while doing the upgrade or migration. How much downtime is the application able to afford? For how long? How long my application can be down without having any major business impact? For how long? Something we have to consider. you will see SLA in multiple aspects. That is why we have monitoring jobs. So that whenever the SLA is broken, okay, you are here to act, right? To react on, okay, to come and resolve the issue. I also talk about SLA when it comes to ticket later after this project. But the SLA is the key aspect behind the method you want to use to upgrade. One of the key oh, sorry, I don't know why my computer is. Okay, one of the key metrics, okay, to consider before you choose a method to upgrade. So that means if I have an application that need a near zero downtime, that means cannot be down for hours, you may need to consider critical standby Golden Gate. And if I have an application that can support either low or moderate downtime, you may need other methods. I will explain each of them. Okay. Oh, 1 second, please. Okay, so now let's jump into now other okay metrics to consider while doing your upgrade. So another metric would be the database size. Okay, so based on this database size, there are some methods that are adequate or not. Okay. So if the database is small, there are some methods you can use to upgrade or migrate. Okay. So for small databases, there are some methods that can good. Like, let me take an example of data pump. It's quite good if the database size is small. Okay. And give you some more reason. Okay. So database size can be one of the parameters to consider. Okay. The platform can also be, okay, are you upgrading on the same platform or are you upgrading across server? Let's assume you want to upgrade on a different server. That means you are upgrading while migrating. So let's assume I have 2 servers, right? I don't want to, maybe all of you will upgrade on your server. So it's on the same server, you guys will be upgrading. But a project, an upgrade can be done across one server to another, and in the other server, they want you to upgrade while you migrate. Okay, so that can be another scenario. Okay, so some upgrading method can allow you to upgrade across servers. Some method may not allow you to do that. Okay, so that can be another consideration. Okay, and okay, so that is another consideration. Now another option. Another consideration could be the operating system. Okay, is the target operating system should be equal to the same? That means, is it Linux the same version? Okay, if I'm moving across, I'm upgrading across servers, right? There's some method that can allow me to upgrade only from Linux to Linux, but there are some other method that can allow me to upgrade from Linux to a different operating system if I want to upgrade while migrating. Okay, so this scenario is for those who are upgrading across servers, cross-platform upgrade. Okay, so there are some methods that can allow me to upgrade across different platforms, some method that cannot. So it means that some method can allow you to upgrade only on a Linux server to another Linux server. If you want to upgrade, the other server is not Linux, or it's IX or it's HPUX, okay, you cannot use that method. So you can also see that the operating system, the OS can also be another consideration. Also, if maybe you are moving from a different file system, maybe you're moving from regular file system to ASM, okay, or RAID storage, any other different type of file system, some method cannot be used, while some other method can be used, okay? So, oh, I totally forgot to add Arman duplicate somewhere. Okay, it's even here anyway, so I'll talk about it here. So there are multiple other metrics, other parameters, okay, behind that can allow you to choose the best method for you to upgrade. Again, right? The first method is non-transactional upgrade. So it means this one that can allow small amount of downtime or medium, right? You can go from low to moderate or from small to medium or huge amount of downtime. And the first method, the commonly, it's also used. I cannot say the highly used one, but it's well known by all DBAs, right? Even though all of them do not use it, but it's well known by all DBAs. This is the tool provided by Oracle to upgrade databases, okay? So we call it database upgrade assistant, okay? And it works like DBCA. So it can allow you to upgrade a database from a lower version to a higher version, okay? So it's a graphical user interface. So using this method, Oracle will take care of the upgrade for you. As you guys also noted with DBCA, okay, Oracle will take care of it, and okay, I will just upgrade. So what you have to do is just to perform some pre-upgrade step manually before, okay, to fix some prerequisites before you launch it. Once the prerequisites are met, you can launch the tool and just click, and Oracle will upgrade for you. So it's also easy to use. It's easy to use. So it comes with the benefit because it helps to reduce human errors. Okay? Whenever something is automated, right, it means we have less human errors. Because some things, some commands, some script will be run by Oracle in the background. So you will not have, any huge impact on the upgrade. Okay? But it also provides more downtime. Why? Because the database should be in upgrade mode. What do I mean by that? The database will not be open read write while you are using this tool. You will shut down the database and start it up in upgrade mode. So you guys will see a command called startup upgrade. That means that, and while you start up upgrade, nobody can perform any transaction in the database. So that means from that time till the upgrade is done, until you run the post-upgrade script, everything, now you can bring back the database in read-write. So it means that if the upgrade takes 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, the database should be down for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, and the application will be unavailable for that within that time interval. So this one offers more downtime. You guys will run it just on your small megabyte databases, right? You will see how long it's taking. It is true. It's also true that your servers are not that powerful as a real environment server, okay? You guys are just using some small VM. I think each of your VM have about 2 core CPU. In the environment, they can have 4 core, 8 core, 16 core, depends, right? So that means the job can move faster than yours. But this one takes a lot of hours. It takes some time. So it's better for you to use these small databases. And for applications that can afford that amount of downtime. So if you have an application that is not available on weekend, and you want to upgrade on weekend, you won't have a lot of headache, right? You can use this thing. Because you know that even if it takes 5-6 hours, Saturday, Sunday, the application is not up. So there's no problem. Even if it failed on Saturday morning, you have enough time to fix it. Okay. And Sunday, you make sure by Sunday it's done so that on Monday, the application can pick up. And the application can be used. Okay. The application will use the database. So this scenario, you may perform this method in a lot of environment. Okay? I know a friend who's in an environment that's not that busy, and she uses DBUA only. So it's very easy. So she doesn't have a lot of challenges using this one to upgrade.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What about like a situation where we have data guard and
Now I will get there. Data guard upgrade. Okay.
okay, and secondly, what exactly are we upgrading? Is it like the metadata or what exactly are we upgrading to?
We are upgrading Oracle component. Okay. Oracle component. When you have Oracle, Oracle comes with some components, some libraries. That is what you are upgrading. Okay. Oracle is a piece, it's a software, a piece of code. So it's made up of multiple components. So those are the components you are upgrading to a higher version. You're not upgrading, the data is not upgraded. The data is how it stays as it is. The data doesn't have a version. But those components are the ones to be upgraded. So whenever you guys call DBCA to create a database, at the end, sometimes you guys, in the summary, you guys can see Oracle multimedia, Oracle stuff. I don't know if you guys already pay attention to those components there.
Once in a while.
Okay, so if the next time you run DBCA, where you will see Oracle libraries, Oracle components, you will see those components there. Those are the components that are upgraded or patched, okay? So that is what you upgrade, Oracle component, because those are the tools in the background that are doing the job for you. The data itself doesn't have a version. When you are creating a table, you are not upgrading a table, you are not upgrading the index. Those are just data. So actually, you are upgrading those packages, those jobs that are built, that are running in the background to perform to execute your request. Those are the components you are upgrading. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yes.
Good. Let's pay attention. Okay. Anyway, when you guys be upgrading, there's a way to check whether the upgrade succeeded. You guys will learn that command. Okay. GBA history command. You guys will create the GBA history, and you guys will see whether that version of the version of this component change. Okay. Maybe I will show you guys that as part of one of the script, the command you guys will run to validate whether it's succeeded or not. So there's a way of validating that. So yes, you are upgrading Oracle component. You are not upgrading the data. The data is not doesn't upgrade. That is why somebody can just export the data from one database and import another database, and that's it. The upgrade is done without having to bother. Just export, import the data, and that's it. You are done with the upgrade. That's what we call data pump. I'll get you that. So one of the limitations DBUA also has is that it should be used on the same server. It means if you have two different servers, you want to upgrade database on the other server, DBUA cannot do that. So you have to be on your own server, on the same server, in order to use DBUA. So that's a limitation. Okay. So it means if your company is saying that we are upgrading to a different server, that means this one is disqualified, right? You should remove this method right away, correct? Because it cannot allow you to do that. The other method is the manual, and DBUA again, okay, is automated. The other one is manual. So manual, you are performing the same step DBUA is doing, but now you are doing that, you are running those scripts yourself. So it means that you are more exposed to errors, right? Because if you run the script running, okay, it can fail, and you need to to fix it. Okay, so you need some knowledge on the procedure in order to perform this method. And a lot of experienced DBA use this method. Myself, I was using this method a lot. That was my first method I always like to use. I can tell you guys the truth that I almost never use this method. Okay, but this is the method I'm more because once you use this method, you have more control over the upgrade. It means what? If I run this script, it doesn't work, I will make sure it works before I move to the next step. It gives me more control over the upgrade, and I understand better the procedure. Okay, this part frequently in an interview question, in the interview, those scripts you will be running here. If you perform this manual method, I don't care about the type of script that you ask you in an interview, you'll be able to provide because you will know those scripts. Okay, so this one is, it's a bit more complicated because you have to run it everything yourself, but it gives you more control over the upgrade. The limitation, okay. The limitation is it should also be run on the same server, and also provide a lot of downtime as the DBUA. Okay, so these are some of the limitations. So for this assignment, it's up to you guys, but I would like you guys to use both. The group I would like you guys to use both. Either you use any other method, okay? Don't just stick on this one because it's easy. Please, you may use this one for 1 minute upgrade, and you use this one or other one for other upgrade, so that you multitask, you learn more than one method at a time. It'll be good for you guys. I can tell you. Okay. It will really help you to know more than one thing. So please, it's good to know more than one method. So we are seeing some benefit of this. We are also seeing some limitation of these two methods. The third method is Oracle Data Pump. Data Pump, it provides even more downtime than this other one. We all know that Data Pump, the database, is open in read-write, but it's not advisable for you to be writing on that database, even though it's open in read-write, because the export job will succeed only if the database is open in read-write, right? You guys know how it works, the export job. Once you call EXPDP, okay, once you call EXPDP, you guys know that you guys will have master process that is there. We have worker processes. We also have a master table that is there to keep track of everything. So whenever you guys call EXPDP, okay, by default, Oracle will get the block from the disk, bring it to the memory before it can export it to the dump file. So the database should be, okay, that's why you need the database to be read-write. Now, there are other ways to avoid the data to be moved to the memory, okay? So that is part of the tuning. So you will hear some people, you will hear a lot of people will not be using, will not be moving, will not be, we add other additional parameters while doing the export in order to speed up the export job. Okay, you hear about parallel parameter, you hear about exclude parameter, you hear about direct equal y, and a lot of parameters. So while you're doing the export job, the database should be open in read-write, but it's not allowed, the database should not go through any change. Why? Because what? If you are exporting, you export, right? And people are performing change on the production, the target version or the target database, right, may not have the same amount of data as the source database. So they may not be in sync. In that scenario, you may need to synchronize them again. Data pump cannot, okay, you may not use data pump to synchronize it again, okay? Even though there are options to do that. So you may need to use other tools to perform the synchronization, okay? So it provides more downtime because it takes longer for the export and import job than manual or GBU way. Takes longer because imagine the time to export a full database, right? And the time to copy the dump file across the network and the time to import. See, there's a lot of time. And if the database is big, that's a big issue. Database is big, that's a big issue because especially if you want to perform to copy dump file across the network, it can really affect the network speed. So some companies have some way to work around, okay? So because they may export to the disk, they just disconnect the disk from that server and connect it to the other server so that they don't have to copy the data across the network, okay? So that will prevent them from doing the SCP. So they just disconnect the disk because the disk is attached to the server. So they disconnect it, they unplug it there, and they plug the disk back to the new server. So they will just use that to import right away. It will be more easier for them. Okay. So, but if the database is small, you can do the SCP command and copy across the network. Okay. And you're good. Don't have any issue. But the time to export, copy, and import, okay, is quite long. It's quite long. And the application, if the application can afford that amount of downtime, then it's good. Okay. But it takes longer for you to perform the data pump job than other methods. And it's recommended for small databases. But data pump has a big benefit, huge benefit over a lot of other methods. We all know data pump, we are moving data from one database to another. So how does it work? Normally, right, with data pump, each one, for instance, to upgrade from 11G to 12C. It means that you may need to install 11G software, you may need to install the 12C software, right? And what happens is you will create an empty database on 12C. Since that database, an empty database means the database doesn't have data, the data, okay, contained in the 11G database. Okay, so what you may just need to do is just to export the data on metadata from the source to the target. So what's happening is that you have two databases. One still on 11G, the one you are exporting the data from, and the other one that you already created empty on 12C, the one that you are exporting to. You are importing to, right? So you have two databases. Let me now tell you the benefit of this. That's what we use in refresh. Okay, what's the benefit? The benefit is that after the upgrade, the application team can be disconnected from the old one and be connected to the new one. performing their test, whether things are working well for them, right? If everything is okay, they stay there. If not, it will be easier for them to come back because the old database is still there. Remember, we have two databases. The old one is still there on the other server. So they can easily hold back. They can easily switch back to the previous one. So you won't have to plan again the whole back procedure. Spend a lot of time because in any project in an environment, guys, whenever we are trying to perform a migration, we always plan a rollback scenario. That's part of the project. Because if it doesn't work, okay, we have to find, we have to hold it, to bring back to the previous version. That's something we have to do, okay? So, but with Datapump is more easier for you to do that than all the previous methods are listed here. Because this one, only one database is upgraded already. Only one database. So for you to come back, you may even use Datapump for you to come back if you use other methods. Datapump is very good, more flexible than a lot of other methods, not any other, but than a lot of them. Okay, so you just use it to easily switch back. The application just needs to disconnect from the old one and reconnect to the new one. Okay, and that's very easy to do that. Despite the fact that it takes more time for the upgrade, but it's easier for you to roll back. Another drawback is you need more space. You have space requirement, right? If you are dealing with space requirement, if you're using DOM file, space requirement because you need to create a database twice. That means you need another copy of database on a different server, right? So that means you need two databases. And another one is you may need some storage for the DOM file. It means you have to prepare some storage for the DOM file if you are using the DOM file. You may skip this option if you're using network link. That means you're not exporting, you are just importing directly from the source to the target. That is Datapump with network link in the import job. So an additional space requirement, if the company can provide this space, then you can consider the Datapump as one of the options. Okay, so it can be used on the same server or different server. That is what manual or GBUA will not provide. GBUA and manual, you can just upgrade on the same server. But Datapump, you can upgrade across servers. So this is another benefit. Okay, sorry if I mixed benefit and drawback. Okay, but this is another benefit of Datapump.
Sir,
yes.
What if the DOM file? Yeah, what if the DOM file falls into the wrong hand? Would they be able to get all the information about the database?
One of the security measures we have is that sometimes DOM file, the basic security measure provided at level of DOM file is the directory object. You guys know that without the directory object, you cannot use the DOM file, right?
Right.
That is one of the first security measures. So the directory object is what can help you to either export or even import. Export to a DOM file or import from a DOM file. So it means that if somebody steals your DOM file and even go and try to use it in another database, that person needs GBA privilege because only the GBA can create directory object, only the GBA can grant read and write on a particular directory object in order to read the DOM file. So you see that at that level, you first of all have a security, you have some limitation at that level. So it means that if I hear that somebody was able to import the database on another environment, it means that person had GBA privileges, and we can easily track that. So that's the first security measure DataPump provides that the regular export was not given. Regular export, we did not have to create directory object. We had some exposure, when it comes to the DOM file. And also, data can be encrypted, okay? You can encrypt while you are exporting. So you will have some keyword like encryption keywords. I don't know if it's 10G or 11G or 12C. You can encrypt while you are exporting. That means you encrypt the password while you're exporting. You guys know you have to put system, whatever password. You can encrypt it, okay? Or I think on 11G, okay, or you can use an encryption algorithm while exporting. So this is what I was talking about. So those are some options you can also, use for the import. If I have a DataPump, I have a database, and I configure transparent data encryption, I may need to export, okay, using the key. So I may need to encrypt to export the master key as well to the target database. So I can encrypt the data, the DOM file, so that if you get it, you don't have the key, you cannot decrypt it. Okay, so up to you. Whatever method works for you. Does it make sense?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, good. Oh, I was here. Okay. So another method is so all these methods I'm listing, right? All these are part of non-transactional. That means at some point the application has to be down, either for a couple of hours or either for a couple of minutes or hours. So we have the other one, transportable table space, that can be used. But you guys know that transportable table space is faster than DataPump, because this one allows you to just export the metadata, and you can also copy the data, right? Okay, or use a package to export the data. You have two options: either you copy using the SCP command, or use a package to export the data. So this one offers less downtime than DataPump. Okay. And what is very good about transportability or database is that it supports heterogeneous platform. It means what? If you are the target, where you are going is if the upgrade is cross server, right? Cross platform. That means that the new database has to be residing on a different server, and that server is Solaris. Okay, actually it's on Linux, and that one should be on Solaris. You can use transportable table space, right, with Arman convert, so that Arman can convert, the engine either from big to small engine. You guys learned that one. You guys did transportable table space. Okay, so it's offer that flexibility. Okay, to export, to upgrade across the same servers or different servers. Another issue with all those stuff are integrity. You have integrity. So what do I mean by that? You guys, if you guys can remember, one of the steps in order to perform transportable table space was to make sure that the tables are self-contained, or table spaces are self-contained. What does it mean, self-contained? It means that if I have a table that resides on that table space, okay, and that table has an index, I should make sure that all the dependencies of that table also are stored in that table space. That's what we call self-contained. It means that if I have maybe an index that has been created on that table, the index also stored in that same table space. But if I have a table space called users table space, and I have a table that has been created in that table space, okay? And on that table, we created an index, and that index is stored on a different table space called test table space. That we said that table space is not self-contained. So in this scenario, you may need to transport both table spaces because they have some dependencies. So that means that is why it is said that if you should make sure the table spaces are self-contained. You have two options, right? Either you move those objects back to the initial table space so that you have only one table space, or you export both, you transport both table spaces to the target database. Guys, I can tell you this is one of the fastest ways of upgrading as well, because let's assume on your database, you have a table space that was created. That means what? On the source and target database, the difference is just the table space created by the application team. Let me take an example. I want to show you an example of what I'm saying. Where is select table space name from video table space? Maybe it's down, so let me see. Okay, no. This one? Let me see. No. Let me see that. Was table space. Let me see.
What editor is this?
Come again, please.
What text editor software is this? Is this still Notepad?
Notepad++.
Oh.
It's free. You can download it. Okay. It can help you to have multiple tabs.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah. And I also noticed how it was like auto-correcting your words too.
Auto-correcting?
Yeah, like it will suggest, like when you're typing, it will suggest the words you want to.
Yes, you can do that. Yeah.
It shows that it saves keywords. The main keywords are used often.
Yeah. So you guys can download it. It's free. Okay. I always use it. It's free. It helps you to open multiple things at the same time. You don't need to have multiple Notepad open. So just one platform. If I close it, I open it, even if the page is not saved, I don't need to save it. Like this one is not saved. So I can close this Notepad and I open it, I will see this page. So you see that is okay. But if I have that Notepad, I close it, they will ask me to save, right? Because it's not yet saved. So if my computer is rebooted, I will not worry about whatever is here. Till I come myself, I decide to close it.
So it's Notepad XX or Notepad
plus. Notepad plus. The name is here.
So you don't need to save at all?
No, I don't need to. You can see here, right? Let me close one. Let me close it. I close it, right? Let me open it back.
Oh, interesting.
You don't need to save, okay? So it's up to you to save it. You see it's still here.
Okay, all right.
All right, so it gives me more flexibility. It's more, some pages are never closed till GB. I don't know, the last time I did on GB1 stuff, there are some things here I never closed. I see here, Golden Gate, when I was even interviewing, these are some stuff we were doing before. I just forgot I did not close them. So it's up to you, you want to close them or not, but.
So can you share this like in an email or something?
Share what, please?
No, I mean, like if you have one like this, like with multiple tabs, can you share it in an email?
What do you mean by share? No, the documents are separated.
Okay. All
You
right.
just open the document individually. Okay, those
Mhm.
documents will be text document. So you can still open them like you usually open any other document. So just choose the document you want to open. If you click on it, you open a new.
Okay. All right.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
you guys can download it. It's free of charge. You guys can go to nini.com. You guys know that platform? This is where I got it from. Okay, nini.com.
Minute. Okay.
This is where I was getting my VNC, all the tool, all this, a lot of tools here.
Okay.
Poly, this is where I was getting my Poly VNCP. This is where we're getting that. So you will find Notepad++.
Yeah, I just found it.
Okay, it's somewhere here. I know it's somewhere either on the left. This is Foxy Reader, no? Zoom.
It's on developer tools. Check on developer tools. I saw
Okay,
it.
good. Yes, okay. No,
Yeah,
this is
I just
okay.
downloaded.
Yeah. Notepad.
Good. Yes, thank you. This is the one. So once you just select it, go to get your Nini. Yeah, it will download it for you. You download it for you here. You can just click and install it. Okay, it's just loading. You will see something will get downloaded here. You guys can you see here. Once you just need to to install it. So yes, if this platform can help you to download a lot of. If you guys want it, I will just put in the chat. Okay, just
Okay. Thank you.
grab it from there. In a professional environment, you may not have access to this type of platform, okay? Because most for security reasons, they may not trust in that type of platform. We try to open Nine in some work environment. It will tell you permission issues, but now you guys can access everything. All right, so that was just a small parenthesis regarding Notepad+. So I was talking about, for instance, transportable table space, right? We all know that all databases have this component. Maybe let's exempt this one. Some you don't have this one. All databases have this component. All Oracle databases have this for. Whenever you create a database, right, you will always have this for. So it means what? Most of the time, the application data will be stored in their own table space. Can be stored in their own table space. So it means that if you are doing a migration or an upgrade, you just need to export this table space and import it to the other database. And you are done with the migration. That's the only thing you do. So you see that you don't need to export the entire database by just transporting the table space. If there's a relationship between this one and this, you may need to transport both of both. And while importing, you may need to use table exist action parameters. That is a parameter you may use if the table you are exporting, for instance, right, is already existing on the target. So you may use table exist action parameter. So yeah, that's just how you can just identify which table space to export, right? Just export it. So that's, and now database space again, right? If it's self-contained, you just need to export it to transport it. You guys know transportable database space method. So I'm not teaching you guys that. You guys pass the exam, so you know how to use, at least, right? Even if you forgot now, it's totally normal. But you have the script somewhere, right? The steps somewhere. You just get back to those steps. You can easily understand what you were doing there. So that is the biggest, that is the issue, that is what part of the requirement. I can call it a drawback. So it is pushing you, this method can can allow you to export only if the table spaces are self-contained. Otherwise, you export all the table spaces containing the data. Okay. And this method can also be used 10.1 onward for transportable table space. And I think 11.203 onward for transportable database. Let me see. Let me validate that, please. What are my migration stuff? Migration method. Let me see. Transportable database. No, this is not transportable database. Oh, 10.2. Okay, so I may need to update it. It's 10.2. Which one is 11? Oh, this one, it was XCTS 11.03. Oh, my bad. Oh, my bad. So this one is not this one. 11.2.0.3. But this one is 10 onward for all of them. All right. Thank you for checking myself. Thanks, since I checked is good. So that means you can use it from 10G onward, okay? 10G onward. And okay, I give you the benefit of this because it reduces the downtime because you are not, okay, you are not exporting the data and metadata, you are exporting on the metadata, but you are copying the data across, right? So it makes things easier. Another method, this is the method we use for our migration to Exadata, rather customer. We call this Arman Cross-Platform Transportable Table Space, XTTS. This method provides less downtime than all previous methods listed above. No, I'll all this tomorrow. So, this method provides less downtime than all previous methods. Less downtime. Why? I will prefer to give you guys a document on this. Why? Because you know what happens is whenever you are dealing with some companies, right, and they give you their laptop, those laptops you can't get anything from there, out of the laptop. That means you can't use USB drives. You can copy data from your work email to your personal email. It's not recommended. So you see now that when I was doing this project, I had to type most of them. I had to find some other techniques, okay, to grab some data, but not critical data in the environment. So, so it means that the steps I had for this were quite 80% detailed, okay, but when I went online in order to make the notes, I found some people who have similar documentation we were using, because you know some people on Google, they take document from Oracle website and they put it in their website, okay? So it's the same thing. So it means that I will recommend you guys a document, okay? Because this is what we were doing. We were exporting exporting pluggables. So I recommend you guys this document for those who are willing to know more about transportable cross-platform transportable table space. Now let me explain how it works. This method, we mix this method both with Arman and EXPDP. Okay, Arman and EXPDP. So what does it mean? So it means that you use Arman to take backups and use EXPDP to export those backups. So it is like you take a first level 0 backup, right? Once you take that level 0 backup, for instance, you export it, okay, to the target version. But because the primary database or the production or the source database is still receiving some data, you will be taking incremental backup along the way so that you can refresh the target database more frequently. Okay, so that's why you guys will see some refresh from foreign platform. It means Arman will be refreshing the target database, okay, after taking incremental backup. So if you want more detail, I will provide this one later on. But since I gave you guys the main link that, okay, was helpful, you can go and try to read line by line to understand, okay, what it's all about. So by doing that, level 0 and level 1 backups, at the end of when you want to do a cutover, that means whenever we want to cut the application from the source to the target, the production database and the target database, we have almost the same amount of data. We even have the same because at the time of the cutover, that means when we are ready to move the data, the application from the source database to the target database, we will put the database in read-only mode. So when we put it in read-only mode, or the table space if you want to, in read-only mode, it means you are no longer accepting transactions from the source database on that table space. So in that scenario, you can easily redirect the application from the source to the target, okay? So this method offers less downtime than any of the methods I mentioned below here. So the documentation is on the chat. So you have time, you go through the document, okay, and try to understand what are the each step, okay? There are more detail. I just put this one here in the past, was 2019, okay, to help some people taking interviews. That was not even for myself. So. And this one also supports heterogeneous platform. So it means, yes, because we were moving from IX to Linux. So of course, we were able to use this method. So it supports heterogeneous platform. It also have integrity issues, right? Like transportable table space. So table spaces should be self-contained as well. And we all can say that it's available 11.23 onward. So if you have a database on that's below this version, you cannot use this method. So, but it's very good though. You don't need a license for that. So it's good. All this method, no license required. No additional license needed for all this. Oh, I think maybe transportable table space. Correct? Is it correct? Transportable table space, we need license? Let me think. Transportable table space. I think so. I think we have a limitation when it comes to licensing. I may need to validate. I don't remember because I'm not using this frequently. Transportable table space. Let me see. Okay, this is what you guys know. Okay. Linux to Windows. Table space. I don't know. So I don't know whether I don't know whether there's an additional license needed. I don't know where I read it. Maybe license, maybe not. So I may need to validate that one. and we need to validate whether there's a license needed. Okay, so I think you guys, this is the command you should run to see whether the table space are self-contained. You guys know this. This is the step you guys have been performing so far. Okay, so you all know this. So I don't know whether it's licensed, but I don't think so. So if maybe I'm wrong, so please, if you notice that if there's a license, good. If not, it's also good. But all these methods are not using a thing, right? This one, no license needed, okay? So it's already available for you. You can just implement it. Another method is physical standby. You guys we all learn data guide. How does it work? Physical standby. I want to open a brand new paint so that you guys will know, so that we do everything together again. Yeah. We all learn data guard. By now, at least we know the concept. We know with data guard, we have primary. We have the standby. The primary provision the standby, right? So we have the redo transport service and the redo apply service. We all learned that. Okay. So let's assume I have my database running on 11G. Some people can try this. I like doing upgrade with data guards. A bit challenging, but it's good because you may have a data guard in your environment. Okay, this is data guard 11G. Okay, so what is the goal? The goal is to upgrade from 11G to 12C, for instance. Okay, so with data guard, first of all, you make sure you install 12C software on each server, because this database is only on the server, right? This one is on the server. So each of them are running on their own server, right? The primary, the standby server. Make sure you install this 12C software. That means on this server, you have 11G and 12C. On this server, you also have 11G and 12C. Now, you will run what we call pre-upgrade. That means we have some steps that you have to perform before upgrading a database. Okay, we throw more light on those steps by Friday. Okay, that is part of the pre-upgrade step. So that means those prerequisites can be for you to take backups, level 0 backup, in order to, that can help, which can help you to hold back in case of any failure. Maybe those prerequisites can also be to enable flashback if not yet enabled, because flashback can also help you to easily come back in case the upgrade failed. The prerequisite can also be to gather statistics, data dictionary statistics, to speed up the upgrade. Other prerequisites can be to recompile invalid object. If you have some invalid object, you can recompile them. Some other prerequisites could be to clean up the recycle bin. Okay, so you clean up the recycle bin so that if there's any object there, you clean up everything. So there are multiple prerequisites that you have to perform before the day of the export. And I will explain it before the day of the upgrade. I will explain it to you guys, okay, how it really works in an environment when it comes to prerequisite or pre-upgrade and upgrade, okay, how it really works. So let's assume you already perform all those prerequisites, okay, and everything is fine. Now, the day of the, one of the prerequisites is also for you to install the software, right? Because installing a software on a server, installing Oracle 12C, right, on a server will not affect databases on that server, right? So so one of the prerequisites will be for you to install Oracle 12C on the standby as well as on the primary. There's no impact, okay? There is no impact. Now, the day of the upgrade, okay, we have some few steps that you have to perform, but since the database has to go down, in physical standby, the database has to go down. But we start with the target before we go to the source. What happens is what? Is that you will make sure one of the steps is you shut down at some point and you start up the database in upgrade mode before you run a GBUA script. So that means what? You will issue a command, startup upgrade. So this is the step before you use DBU. This is the step you will issue on SQL before you call GBUA. This is this is the step right before you call GBUA. If you want to use GBUA, you should shut down and start up upgrade. Okay, so that's the only thing you will do on the standby. You stop there. You also come on the primary on SQL. You shut down and you start up upgrade. So you start with the standby first before you go to the primary. So you shut down, you start up upgrade the standby, you shut down, you start up upgrade the primary. Again, there are some steps before this, right? I assume you already performed those steps. Now, once you do that, you will now come here and call the GBUA tool from here, from the primary. So you just go to the operating system, you call GBUA from 12c software, right? Once you will call the GBUA, you will be upgrading now this database, correct? So now what's happening is what? While upgrading this database, the redo generated by the upgrade process, right, will be transferred to the standby, and those redo will also upgrade the standby for you. So you see that by calling GBUA on this primary, we allow you to upgrade both primary and standby at the same time, because the log transport service and the log apply service are running. So you don't upgrade this, you just start up upgrade. You come to the primary, you start up upgrade. You make sure the log transport service and log apply service are up and running. MRP, everything is fine. Now you call GBUA. While this one is getting upgraded, the redo generated here will also move to the standby and upgrade the standby. Very easy to do. But as you can notice, right, both are down because the application should go down because both should be shut down and being upgraded at the same time. So the data guy in this scenario, right, the entire application team will face some downtime till the upgrade is done.
So manually?
I've never seen a place where you do it manually. Maybe you can do it, right? I know. Okay. Yeah, I've never tried that one, but I know it's difficult.
So sir, what if something goes wrong, like in the middle of the upgrade? Because
that's why you have flashback.
Yeah, because I got it somewhere. It shows that if you're using DBUA and anything goes wrong, you might not be able to use the same DBUA again. You might want to go to your manual method. And now if you said to use manual method is rare, so I think that will be very more difficult.
Yeah, I've never used manual method for data guard. Maybe I will try one day, right? But it's possible. It's a bit more complicated, but it's possible. So yes, if GBUA fail, it can be used only once. Yeah, that's a very good point. Where is my cursor? Oh, it's on the other screen. Very good point that I should have mentioned here.
So that means while you're upgrading, if DBUA fails, you have to start from scratch?
If DBUA fails, you switch to manual.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I want you guys to know manual, right? So that if your DBUA fails, you can easily see, because if it failed, you cannot call it again. It can be used once. That's one of the limitations with GBUA.
Wait, once, what do you mean by once? Once during the upgrade process. That's what you mean, right? Not
Once while you're upgrading a particular database from one
okay.
version to another version.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so when your database is start up on upgrade, is it open?
No, it's not open. It's not, no, you cannot receive any other correction. If you're not an administrative user, right, you will not connect to the database.
So what about the MRP? Would it be able to apply the logs?
Startup upgrade,
Yes,
since there is even no logs generated, right?
yes.
Startup upgrade. That means there is no transaction going on here, because you have to shut down startup upgrade. So the MRP is up and running, but it's not applying anything till you launch the GBUA. Now the GBUA is a job, right? So it will generate redo. Those redo now will now be captured and sent to the standby.
Then the MRP will be applying the logs.
Sure, yes, MRP will be applying. Okay.
That sounds cool, but it's very, very frightening.
So
Nah.
in other words, the work is just done like one way.
One way, correct, yes. We take advantage of the log transport and apply services.
I'll try that.
Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes, it will be good for you guys to take a try. I think I tried once. Let me see if I upgraded, if it's here. Upgrade and patching. Where do I put my eyes? I'm not seeing well. Okay. Upgrade. Back. Upgrade. Only upgrade. Now this is logical standby. I tried this one in the past. Physical standby upgrade. I'm not sure whether I have it here, but it should be somewhere. Maybe it's here or not. I'll put the steps somewhere anyway. Okay, now this is logical standby. Upgrade. Okay, this is patching. So I may need to find that one. So yes, it's very possible. I don't know where I put it again. Somewhere here. I will check it. So yes, very possible for you to do that. And if you have time, you can try and see how it works, right?
But in the case where you have multiple standby, so it's gonna be the same scenario.
It's the same scenario. All of them, all the standby, you start them on upgrade mode. You just come and launch the GBUA from the primary. All of them will be upgraded. Does it make sense?
And must you upgrade them all at the same time?
Yes, yes. If all of them are physical or active, right? All of them should be at the same time. You cannot upgrade the standby first before you come to the primary.
Okay.
So I say that this scenario I just explained is for physical standby and active standby. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. The other upgrade method, this one also, you can see that there's a lot of downtime, right? Because both primary and standby are down. So it's recommended that the primary and standby be at the same version. So what do I mean by that? It means that 10G, 11G, 11G, both you are moving to 12C, 12C. So you are not moving one to 18C, another one to 12C. It's not possible, okay? So we are going to the same version, moving to the same version. So that's the best, that's a requirement. And you can use this method from 10G onward. So you guys already have 11G. So when you guys have free time, okay? As you can see this note, most of them I did it as a student. So it means that some of them I was trying, but some of them I was just Googling. They found some testing, but some of them I was just Googling just for interview purpose. But most of them I will just sit and try. And once it works, I just put it here and you can help somebody for the interview. So once you have extra time, either as a group or individually, you can be creating, you can be trying things. Let's assume you guys did data guard. Okay. Data guard, you guys use what do you configure data guard with? Arman duplicate. Okay. Now maybe somebody use backup base duplicate. So there are multiple ways of configuring data guard. So whatever step you use, document it. And I will explain to you guys the benefit of this OneNote once we get there. So yes, basically that is how data guard works. And the other one is logical standby. I have 2 more minutes. The other one is logical standby. What is a logical standby, basically? With a logical standby, I have my production on my primary, right? And we all know that a logical standby is a physical standby that are converted into logical standby. So initially, we always configure a physical standby first. Then we convert the physical standby into logical standby. That's one of the questions I forgot to put in the assignment, but it's fine. So let's assume the logical standby is open in read-write. Let's not forget it. So if I'm on 11G here, I'm on 11G here, that means the logical standby is on 11G. After I perform all the prerequisites, right, I install the 12C, I also install the 12C. Now, unlike the physical standby, because it's open in read-write, correct? Because it's open in read-write, what I will do is read this one first. I upgrade this one first. That means I can call GBUA here because it's open in read-write. So I mean, I upgrade this one. That means what? Once this upgrade is done, this database is on 12C, while this one is still on 11G. Now, when I'm done, I make sure they're in sync, right? Because I can be upgrading while the MRP are doing their job. Once it's done, I just perform a switchover. Now with the switchover, this one that is upgraded, right, will become the new primary. This one that's not upgraded will become the new standby. And remember, it's still on 11G. So I can also upgrade this one and bring it to 12C. So I can upgrade from 11G to 12C. So you see now that the downtime, because while I was upgrading this one, right, the production was still available for users. So they were still able to perform their transaction on the 11G database. Now, the downtime that we have will be only when they are doing the switchover, because during the switchover, connection will be moving from the old primary to the new primary. That's the only downtime they may face. And the last couple of seconds, I'm saying couple of seconds, very fast. Maybe some of you perform a switchover, it took minutes, but with an environment with good CPU, good memory, it's a couple of seconds from the broker. So you may see that that's the only downtime people will face. And now in that scenario, once they are here now in the new primary, you can upgrade the other one to 12C. Sometimes it's very difficult to switch back with the logical standby. So will you take the risk to stay on this one forever? Are you willing to stay on this one forever? If yes, then you're good with logical standby. But if you want to switch back, it can be difficult. Logical standby. Even to convert a logical standby into physical standby is also very complicated. Because remember, I told you guys that A logical standby is a logical copy of the production. It doesn't mean it's a block-to-block copy of the production, because some data on the logical standby may not be found on the physical stand on the primary. So switchover may work, but switch back will be difficult. So are you willing to stay on the? Are you willing to use the logical standby as the new primary? Good. You can, after the switchover, you can just decommission this one. You don't use this one anymore. You shut down this. You stop this configuration, and you use this one. That is the upgrade. Using the logical standby. So you upgrade this one, and then you come and upgrade the other one. Okay. So it's no longer one shot for both. Okay. So you have to upgrade the logical standby first. You switch over, and you upgrade the primary. And the last method is Oracle Golden Gate, the best tool for upgrade and migration. That is the next project. This is the best tool. It's easy to configure, and it also provide near zero downtime upgrade and migration. Golden Gate is a little bit like DataGuard. If you understand the concept of DataGuard, you won't be lost on Golden Gate. The Golden Gate, you also have a source and a target. Now the difference is that with Golden Gate, it's not like DataGuard where you have to set some parameters, alter system, whatever, okay? With Golden Gate is a tool. So that tool is downloaded from Oracle website, and you install Golden Gate on the primary, you also install it on the standby. And once you install it, you configure this tool, you use this tool so that it can get data from the primary to the standby. So this tool, right, have access to the database, and it can grab the data from the database and send it to another database. Vice versa. That means, okay, let me make it very clear. So how does it work? So Golden Gate will access your database, get the data from there, and send it to the target location to the other tool, right? That will install on the target location, because you install it twice. It's easy to install, guys. Don't worry. It's very easy to install Golden Gate. Very, very easy. So it will send it to the other tool, to the same tool that's on the target server. And this tool now can apply it to the target server. Now the difference between Golden Gate and DataGuard, I will throw more light on it, is that it can take it from the primary to the source and bring to the target, and it can also do the reverse scenario. So it can work on bidirectional application. So that means what? The source can become the target can become the source, or both can be sharing the data together. So that's basically how it works. Okay, please don't worry. If you have any question, next class you can ask me. But Golden Gate is one of the best tools for that. So when it comes to the upgrade, you may just need to install Golden Gate on the target server. That means on 12C, for instance, you are on 11G, Golden Gate will be able to take data on 11G database and replicate on the 12C database. So that is what makes it one of the perfect tools, because it supports cross-platform, and the database doesn't have to be at the same version. So it can replicate from a 10G to a 12C database. It can also replicate from across different servers. It can also replicate data from Oracle to Microsoft SQL Server or any other, or some of the RDBMS that are supported. So it's a tool, very powerful tool. It's even one of the best tools for migration. If you want to migrate from across platform or in the cloud, Very, very good tool. So that's why I'm not sure. That's why you will still find some jobs where they need some Golden Gate specialist, as well as data guy, right? Because even the cloud is still there. So Golden Gate is a tool that we use this tool for a good time. I think we still have a lot of time, a lot of years to use Golden Gate. Very, very powerful tool. A bit complex at some point, but very powerful. So the only limitation is that license, okay? That's the only limitation because it's not free. So that means you have to pay for license in order to use this. All right. So that's the only limitation you have with Golden Gate. But if I have a requirement from the application team and they tell me my application cannot be down for more than 10 minutes or 15 minutes, they have to choose. Either we configure a new standby or we purchase a temporal Golden Gate license from Oracle. We can purchase a temporal license. That means you tell Oracle, you negotiate with Oracle, you say that, okay, I want the license for this tool only for this particular period. That means you know that during that interval, you will use Golden Gate for your migration. Then you can negotiate. You can have a better deal. Okay? So they have to pay the price of the availability. So if they don't want a lot of downtime, they also have to know that they have to pay the price, because you may need to configure Golden Gate again, or may need to configure a logical standby. Okay, so but if they can afford downtime, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour, then other methods can be helpful. So based on the amount of downtime they can afford, or based on the database size, you may use Arman cross-platform database. Okay, that can be your preference. Okay, or you may use other methods. So it depends on what they need. If we are doing on the same platform, or we are doing on different platform, or also if you have the same the database size is small, and so on. Okay, so it depends on what they want. All right. So, any question?
So I have a question, but it's on data guy. I want to take us a little bit back.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I was a little bit conflicted with the first login. With the first login scenario, because I was thinking maybe first login is the same as initiating checkpoint. Because due to what I tried to figure out is when you enable first login, you don't want any redo logs. Excuse me, you don't want any transaction to generate without like every transaction that is issued in a database should generate a redo log. And of course, if it's generating redo log, it therefore means you will basically initiating checkpoint. But I tried to discuss it with my colleagues in the morning class. They disagree. I don't know if you can clarify me more on that.
Normal, right? Whether you have first login or not, you will still have checkpointing.
Right.
That's something. So checkpointing is just a normal procedure. Whenever you committed your transaction, the checkpoint position will move. So that is normal. So I don't need to have first login. Okay. If first login is not enabled, those transactions that can generate log, you will still have checkpointing. Whenever they are committed, the checkpoint position will move, will take place. Okay, the SCN will be updated in the control file, all those stuff. So the checkpointing, the first login is not will not affect checkpointing at all. Things will still move as usual. I don't know if it makes sense.
I didn't say it will affect it. You probably didn't get it well. I say like logically it's the same scenario that happened.
No, I don't want you to relate them. No, it's not the same scenario. Checkpointing is something that happened already. It's something that already happens without even force login. Force login is just there to force those transactions that are not generating logs to generate logs, or those transactions that are with no log option to generate logs. It's just to force them. Now, even after it forces those transactions to generate logs, checkpointing can still take place right after that. I don't know where you are looking for, but I don't want to relate them. I'm not seeing a big relationship between force login and check. Maybe by enabling force login, you may have frequent checkpointing.
Right. That's how I'm looking at it.
Okay, maybe we have frequent checkpointing because now that those transactions can generate logs, it means you may have frequent checkpointing. That can be the only impact. That's how you can impact the checkpointing process. But without it, you still have checkpointing. Does it make sense?
Okay, that's fair. That's clear. Thank you.
Fine, no problem. Okay, so I will send this to you guys. Okay. Any other question? I need to connect. Any other question for me? Oh, I did not. Please don't disconnect. I need to topic. Okay. Let me text this guys. So all your software will be here. Okay. I let this open. So you guys, when you go to download, you guys know how to go to download, right? When you go to download, you guys will see Oracle 12c. That is where you guys install your Oracle 12c. This directory is where you have the 11201. And this directory is where you have the 11203. You will see all of them. We are no longer using the 10G. So just go to download. To install 12c is this one. To install 11201 is this one. To install 11203 is this one. Okay, guys. So that is I talk more about patching the next time. Let me go very quick. Almost already late. Let me presentation. Presentation. Okay, so there's a group that should take care of this thing. That's one. No, this is not the one. Okay. There's a group that should take care of, as we agreed, right? So the group we take care of, it doesn't mean that it's the only group to work on it. Monday, I want you guys at least to install everything. Just installation is my first requirement for Monday. So at least this one should be completed for everybody. Wednesday, this one, at least. I know, and Friday, this one, and the week after, this one. So Monday, Wednesday, the next Monday, we should have completed either this or both. And now that Wednesday, the next Wednesday and Friday, you guys can use it for a data guide. And the week that follows, we can start the next project. So it means we have 2 more weeks starting from now, the next week and the other week, so that you guys can complete both data guide and both upgrade and data guide as well. So, but for Monday, okay, since you guys have to read and do stuff, it'd be good if you completed this one. If you started this one, it's fine, it's good. If you completed prerequisite, it's very good. Okay, but my requirement for Monday for all groups is this. For this particular project, upgrade and patching, I noticed that this class is, we don't have a lot of people here, that means some group will come back. Okay. Upgrade for this group in patching. Let me see if I need to give patching to them or not. This one. How many people will you have in this group?
3.
Estelle is not here.
It's 3 people in that group.
So I remove Estelle.
No, remove Natu.
Is Estelle talking?
Oh, okay. So remove Natu. Where's Natu then?
I don't know.
It's a lost ship.
Natu, where are you?
Let's travel.
I think she's in morning.
Vacation to nowhere.
Okay.
She left us
So-
like that.
All right.
She traveled to the Data God plantation.
So upgrade and patching be taken care of by this group. Okay. Okay. So and the date October 19. Okay. We will start at, it will be easier. Okay. To know how far you have completed this. Okay. So Buffett team upgrade and patching starting October 19. Okay, guys. So I need to drop. 10 minutes later already. So, okay. So, sorry, if you have any question, you can ask me this question Friday, okay?
Got time. Quickly, you said if our server is still down, what should we do?
But the servers are, oh, my bad.
If your server is down, please send your student number to your class leader. I don't know if it's Renata or who. Send all your student number to her, and she can forward them to Prof.
Okay, Renata, is you, right?
Okay, guys. See you guys Friday, okay?
Okay.
All right, got
What time on Friday, please?
Same time, please. 5.
5? Okay, cool. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks.
Renata,
Yes. Is it Patrick speaking?
yes, it's Patrick.
Uh-huh.
I should send my student number to you, right? And forward
Okay.
So, Anita.
Okay. Was it Devon? Are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Devon.
Yes,
Okay, so as I told you, I don't really know. I think it's like $150. The if anybody knows the price to take the SQL fundamental, I don't know if 150 or 200.
It's
But I
245.
believe, excuse me?
I think it's 245. It's in the price.
Oh, 245. Okay.
You said the price, right?
To take the SQL fundamental exam.
Yeah, I think it's 245.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So Devon is 245.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Excuse me, Renata, you passed an information when the class just started. Sorry, I didn't catch it.
Okay. I was talking about the SQL fundamental. So the morning class came with the idea of getting the DOM file for the SQL fundamental, and they were asking us to give a contribution as in $20 per person. So I'm asking to each group leader to come together, come up with the money. When you guys have the money, I'll send Zoe's Cash App or Zoe's Zelle, so you guys can forward him the money. The due date is Monday, Monday the 20. When is Monday? Monday the 19th.
How many dollars per person, please?
$20. So
How many people?
What's the price of the DOM file?
the DOM file doesn't have a price, I believe.
So when he says $20 per person,
they want to send people to get the DOM file. That's the aim of what we're doing.
Okay, to send people to go.
Yeah, come with a DOM file.
Oh.
Yes.
Have they decided the criteria on who they are going to send?
To be honest, some of you guys wrote to me a lot of questions that I could not answer. So I texted Zoe to be sure of what I'm saying. So I'm gonna let you guys know. If anything I said wasn't correct, I'm gonna text you guys in the group. but I think what I heard was $20 per person, and they're gonna say I don't know how many people they're gonna send, but at least they want enough dump file for everybody to be able to take it without any doubt. So I'm gonna let you guys know in case pick something.
All right, just talk to him, find out questions about who they want to send to
Okay, no
do
problem.
it, what are the criteria and things like that. Just a concise information so that the pricing match with the activity.
All right, no problem. Okay, Patrick, I'll be waiting for your student number.
All right, I'm sending it right now.
All right.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.